Hi there. So many people have said to me in 2026, I want to set up as a virtual assistant, but I've got no idea where to start. So I thought I would put together this little video to help you get some clarity around where to start and get your business off the ground. So what does a virtual assistant actually do? Well, there's many things a virtual assistant can do. It's essentially it's delivering remote services, usually on a self-employed basis. So it can really be any services that you want to or able to deliver on a remote basis. So it could be anything from PA to EA or general admin or event management or spreadsheet support, social media support, bookkeeping, you name it. It can be so many things. So what we're noticing in the industry is the demand for VAs is continually growing. It's been growing since I started in 2016 and it hasn't stopped. There's increased demand because I think more and more people are setting up their own business and as their business grows, the demand for VA support then comes to the fore for them. So definitely much more demand these days, and it's continuing to grow. So where to start? What I would say is think about what services you want to deliver. So what skills have you already got? It's what we call transferable skills. Maybe you've got admin experience in the past. Maybe you've got customer service, like working on a reception desk or something. Maybe you have been a PA or an EA, or you're a bookkeeper, or you love social media and you've never actually sold it as a service, but you do a lot of it for yourself. Maybe you've done voluntary work being on the PTA and being the secretary on the PTA or something like that. So there'll be many, many skills that you already have that are something that you can sell. So that's where I would start, is to have a think about what skills you've already got that you can potentially sell to your clients. Then I would think about who those clients are going to be. So who might they be? Who have you worked with in the past? What industries or what type of people even? Maybe you like working in a small business or a larger business. Maybe you like working in fast pace, or maybe you like working in healthcare, whatever it is. So have a think about what you've done in the past, which industries you've worked with in the past, who you enjoyed working with in the past, whether that's, as I say, the industry or narrowing it down to individuals. And I think what then we start to get some clarity about who our ideal client is. And that's really important, but difficult to do when you start out. But I want you to start thinking about who is that ideal client. Get some much more clarity on that as you narrow this down. So it might be that you want to work with women who have their own business and it's just them so far, and they're growing and they can't cope with all the admin as well. They need to focus on delivering their own service, and their time has been taken up by doing the admin, and they haven't got time to grow their business, find new clients for themselves. So, and maybe they work in the health and wellness industry. Sorry, put my teeth in today. So maybe you want to start thinking about getting much more clarity around who they are, because this makes it much easier to know who you're talking to when you're doing your marketing. But don't try to be everything to everybody. Just start small. Start with what you already know. And that goes for your services as well. Start with what you already know, and then we build on it. So maybe it's what we typically see, the people who use VAs most often is people in the coaching industry, or consultants, or people who've got an online business, so don't necessarily have a bricks and mortar business. Not to say they don't use VAs. We've got clients that have bricks and mortar VAs for sure, but predominantly our clients are in the online business. So whether they're coaches, like teaching, training, online courses, that type of thing, or whether they are coaching in terms of life coach or business coaching. Maybe they are coaching in terms of like personal trainers, that type of thing. So there's all sorts of things out there that people are delivering their services online. And I would definitely start with online businesses, because there's a vast array of clients out there that are very open to working in this online way and this virtual way. And then think about your package that you want to put together. So what the service packages look like. And it could be, just simply the services you want to offer. It could be maybe you've got some projects you could do. It maybe you are skilled in a certain type of software, and you want to think about putting together a package that I don't know, builds a certain software for somebody, or uploads a whole training modules for somebody inside their software, or gets their CRM really great. It could be anything really, but think about whether it's something that you can package up so that you can sell as maybe a project. That's very much an option as well. Then I would think about what structure you're going to have your business under. So think about if you're going to be a sole trader, this is for the UK, or a limited company, and how you want to structure your business, and make sure that you set up so that you're compliant with HMRC. Again, in the UK, that is, or your own governing body inside your own country. So make sure that you're legally compliant to set up a business and run a business, and you've got everything all in order from that respect. If you haven't already, of course, you need to think about what your business name is and maybe put some branding around that. Think about what you want your clients to feel when they see your branding, what's your name, your colors, that type of thing. And then also think about things like your finances. So ensure that you've got a business bank account set up. It doesn't have to be a business account as such, but we do recommend you have a separate bank account that all your business transactions will go through, so that it's not sort of messed up with your day-to-day personal transactions that's going on. So have an account that's separate to your personal transactions, so that it's easy to keep a track of all of your finances going in and out of the business. And then potentially an accounting software that you might want to think about. You can make do with a spreadsheet, but it's becoming more increasingly important to have financial software, especially when your business gets bigger. You have to report to HMRC using the financial software. So think about making sure that those things are in place. And then you want to think about your pricing structure. So how much are you going to charge? We know that in the UK in 2026, currently the average rate is around 32 or 33 pounds an hour. So think about how you're going to package up your services. Are you going to have retained packages? Are you going to sell it ad hoc, i.e. retrospectively when you've done the work? Or are you going to have a retained package where you say buy 10 hours up front and they pay in advance, and they have those 10 hours delivered over the course of the month? So it might be, think about how you want to set up your pricing structure and your rates, and help get some clarity around that. Then we have to go out and find our clients, don't we? So make sure that you think about how you're going to market yourself. You need to think about how you're going to have people who don't know that you exist now know that you exist and want to work with you. So you need to get people from what I call A to B. So they don't know you at all. So it's what we call top of funnel. They come in and they go from that awareness stage to know who you are, that you exist and what you do. And then they move down through the funnel to actually purchasing your services. How are you going to get people from A to B? So how are you going to let people know you exist? Are you going to show up on social media? Are you going to go out face-to-face networking? Think about how you're going to let people know you exist, and then how you're going to nurture them down that funnel to buy your services. And then, what I always say about having people just make that buying decision, it's always helpful to think about how you make your buying decisions. So for example, if you decide to buy a course, let's say, what thought process did you go through before you decided to pay for that course or that service or whatever it is? And you can liken it to, let's say, choosing a plumber or electrician, for example. How have you gone about finding a plumber or electrician? Do you ask around and get some recommendations from your friends and family? Because we know that this helps us. This is what we call, people buy when they know, like, and trust somebody. And so when they somebody else recommends somebody, that know, like, and trust is fast tracked, isn't it? Because we trust what our friends or family say to us because and they've already had an interaction with that person. So remember that people buy because they know, like, and trust. So how are you making the decision to use that plumber services, let's say? You maybe take a recommendation from a friend, maybe you go and Google it, maybe you look on social media, maybe you look in some directories. How are you making those decisions? And then what is it about how you've picked that particular one to work with? And then when you've spoken to them, what is it about them that made you say, yes, I want to use your services? It's a really helpful way to break down each step about how people make buying decisions. And I think that if you can apply that to how you make a buying decision, it will really help you to know how your clients might make a buying decision, and then thereafter start to build your marketing around how those decisions are made. So, good luck on finding your first client and getting your business off the ground. If you want some more help, we've got our Facebook group, which is really busy and lots of information in there. We do some free trainings once a month. Please come and join us in there. It's advanced for virtual assistants and online business managers. I'll share the link in the notes. We'd love to see you over there. Really, very welcome. And bring along any friends that you think it might be helpful to. The free trainings outside this YouTube channel, there's some excellent trainings that we do once a month, as I say. Plus, we have things like Business Book Club and various other things going on. So come along and join us in there. I hope you found this video. I know it's a whistle-stop tour. There's a lot to take in, but hopefully it's helping you to think about, maybe is the virtual assistant route right for me? Or maybe there's some gaps inside your business. You've started as a VA recently and you haven't done a few of these things. So I hope it's been helpful to you. I really look forward to seeing you over in the Facebook group. Bye for now.